Hey friends, welcome back to Mustard Seed Homesteading. If you're new to my channel, my name is Megan and I'm really glad that you're here. What I do on my channel is give weekly garden tours, but I also share other videos in between, one of them being how I plant my potato seeds in my GREENSTALKs. A couple of months ago, I made a video planting them a little bit differently to see if it'll give me a larger harvest. So today we're gonna finally harvest them. So let's get started. All right, so before we go ahead and get the GREENSTALKs and start to harvest all of the potatoes, there's a few things I want to share. So a couple of months ago, I had the idea of attempting to grow potatoes differently in my GREENSTALKs than I've had in the past. So the idea that I had, and I did a video on this, which I will link below, but the idea that I had was to add a little bit of soil at the bottom of the tier of the GREENSTALK, then plant the potato seed, and then put about an inch or two of soil on top of that seed and leave a lot of space so that as the stem grew, I just added soil to that stem in hopes that it would yield a larger harvest of potatoes in my GREENSTALKs, because I've had really great success with potatoes in my GREENSTALKs, even more so than in my grow bags. And while I know potatoes grow very well on the ground and in raised beds, I just have not attempted that yet because I've really enjoyed the GREENSTALKs for their versatility of being able to move around if I need to, for sun, for weather, but also just the footprint of the GREENSTALK and being able to grow potatoes vertically as opposed to on the ground or taking up a whole raised bed. And I may actually do it in a raised bed down the road. You know, every year I make different, I think of different things to do, but right now my focus is trying to perfect potatoes in the GREENSTALKs, and today we're gonna find out if we did. So let's go check it out. Okay, because we are limited with sunlight, I'm going to take the GREENSTALKs, just take them apart. I'm gonna harvest everything and then I'll show you at the end. So as I harvest these potatoes in the GREENSTALK tiers, I want to share a few things, especially if you're new to my channel. The soil that I use in my GREENSTALKs is Bocto soil, and I've had wonderful success with the soil. Now, you don't have to use the soil, it's just the one I choose to use. Any potting soil will do with your GREENSTALKs. I also mix in black cow compost to feed additional nutrients into the soil. And in addition to that, I have used straw on top of the soil in the past to protect the soil, but this time I did not use the straw over the soil because I was more focused on hilling these potatoes with the soil as they grew. You will also see me place a black stopper over the middle hole of the tier, and all this does is help soil not to fall through that hole, so it's less of a mess and I don't waste soil. And those gray reservoirs that you see me take off and place on is where the water collects from the very top reservoir and flows through to deliver water to each one of those pockets. It's definitely interesting to see the results from some potato seeds that were cut versus some that were whole, as well as the amount of eyes that were on the potato when I planted them. I'll definitely give you my final thoughts at the end and what I plan to do next time. And I don't know about you, but finding potatoes is one of my favorite things to do in the garden. Well, friends, it definitely got dark on us, so we're in my garage next to my grow lights where I start my seeds, but let's see what we harvested in both of the green stalks today. So here is the full harvest. I planted yellow and red potatoes. Now these were store-bought, but they were organic potatoes. Some of the potato seeds I cut in pieces, some of them I planted whole, but overall I am happy with the harvest. I'm not overly excited, but I'm not completely disappointed either, especially considering that I planted them in the fall time versus summer they do a whole lot better. But let me give you a few of my takeaways that I'm thinking with growing these potatoes this way. Okay, so the first takeaway that I'm learning from this is the season that I planted them in. So typically potatoes do better with warmer weather versus the fall. Not to say that fall potatoes don't do well, but this is my first time planting and harvesting fall potatoes. I've always done summer potatoes, so I do plan to try and do this method again in the summertime to see if there is a difference just from that aspect alone, being that it's a different season. Another takeaway that I got from this is that while I've had great success with cutting my potato seeds in pieces and planting them, as well as also planting whole potatoes in the past, I noticed in this particular situation with the green stalks that the potatoes that were whole and they were not cut did a whole lot better than the cut pieces. Not sure if it's just because there was more sprouts on the whole versus the smaller pieces, but that's what I gathered from when I harvested the larger potatoes, and the more yield of a harvest of potatoes was from the potatoes that were whole. Now, what I am considering doing is maybe taking one of my green stalks, because I have 2 designated green stalks for my potatoes only. What I may do is this method in one green stalk, and then do the other method that I did when I first planted potatoes in the green stalk, and that is pretty much fill the tier up with most of the soil and then just plant it about 2 to 3 inches deep, and maybe experiment to see which method is better. Knowing me, that's probably what I'm gonna do next summer, because I love to experiment and do different things to see what yields better as far as harvest or bug control or whatever the case may be. I really do like to experiment, so that's probably what I'm gonna do next time. I also would love to know from you guys, what is your favorite method of growing potatoes? Do you like growing them in buckets or bags or raised bed or in the ground or a green stalk like myself? I really would like to know, because for me, growing potatoes is one thing that I truly want to perfect. Now, I know myself, I'm probably more than likely going to grow potatoes either next year or the year after, try growing them in the ground or growing them in a raised bed. I'm not sure yet, because I just want to learn to grow enough potatoes for my family and I to eat throughout the year. And I'm definitely not there yet, but I'm working towards that goal. And again, the reason I love having them in the green stalk is because of the versatility, being able to move them around or any weather conditions. But I also want to have various methods of growing potatoes, which is why I would love to hear from you what your favorite method is and what has worked best for you. So friends, I want to take a quick second here before I say goodbye, just to be an encouragement to you. As you go along in your garden journey, as I have, you are going to have failures and you're going to have successes. So with regards to today, I am learning so much from the method that I tried growing potatoes in my green stalks. And while on the surface, it looks like I failed at growing a large yield of potatoes in my green stalks, I don't look at it that way. I look at it as a success. One being that I did grow potatoes, not as much as I wanted to, but I did grow some. But every time I try something different, I try a new method, and it doesn't come out the way that I was hoping it would, that's when my brain starts going and I think of a different way, or maybe I'll do it differently this way. In this case, I would like to try it in the summertime, because summer, warmer weather, it's better for potatoes. Not that they don't do good in the fall, but I've had better success in the summertime. So because of this, I'm now thinking of different ways to kind of tweak it or change it instead of it just getting me down and thinking that I can't grow potatoes. I know I can grow potatoes. I know that you can garden. I know that you can grow food and potatoes. But we just have to keep trying, even if it doesn't yield the kind of harvest that we were hoping for. And so I just want to encourage you in that, because I don't ever want you to give up if something doesn't work. So stay encouraged always. So friends, I'm so glad that you came by, and I really look forward to seeing you all next time. And remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see y'all next time. Bye.